What's good, people? It's your boy T-Rav. I'm here again. Another movie review. I just got back from watching Dragon Ball Super, the superhero movie. Now, the big takeaway, obviously, of course, is that while Goku and Vegeta are involved in this movie, they're really not. You know, they're kind of pushed to the side. They're off training with Whis and Beerus. And, you know, they kind of tease a little bit as to what is possibly coming down the pike. We don't really know in terms of villains and things like that. But obviously the other gods of destruction are out there. The other universes are out there. Who knows? There's other people besides Jiren that are top notch. I'm pretty sure I recall them saying that they didn't even include like certain universes in that big, humongous tournament. So obviously there's room for that. Plus Broly's there chilling, you know, trying to train with him as well. He's still trying to work out the anger issues and get his shit under control because he does flip out from time to time. But so they're training there or whatever. But this movie's mainly focused around Piccolo, which was a shock to me. Piccolo and Gohan. Now, obviously Gohan has been a huge disappointment considering his potential, obviously, and how he defeated Cell and how he was as a kid. And Piccolo always said he could be the greatest of them all, but he's basically fully settled down into a research role where he's researching whatever the fuck. Who really cares? You know, he's a young scholarly man now, and there's nothing wrong with that. But bruh, when you got that type of potential and all that stuff, like you gotta stay ready, fam. If you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But the main villain for this movie is a throwback because the Red Ribbon Army comes back into play. Now, if you're an OG Dragon Ball fan, and I'm talking about Dragon Ball, not Z, not like that, Dragon Ball, we go all the way back. And that was really the main people that Goku was fighting most of the time. And now, obviously, the androids did pop up in Z, and they were formidable in their own right. And Cell, obviously, is the master creation for Dr. Gero and all that. But Dr. Gero is gone now. He's dead. And so the Red Ribbon Army approaches his grandson, who is Dr. Hedo. Now, he's a bit of an interesting little boy. I think he's only like, well, he's not a little boy. I think he's like 24 or something like that. But he's hella smart, became a doctor and all this other stuff when he was 14. And he's in prison and shit like that. And the Red Ribbon Army approaches him. And they want to obviously frame it as Capsule Corp is some evil enterprise. Now, what it's really just showing, while they know a lot, they really know nothing. Okay, they're so far behind in the game, they don't even realize that the whole Saiyan deal and how like they think, oh, there's these random people that come flying in and out of their facility all the time, and they give no explanation or whatever, right? But Dr. Hedo goes ahead and signs up to help him out. But he makes it clear he doesn't want to do this like how they're trying to do it. He wants to make cool heroes, stuff like that. And yeah, they'll take down the people who have been framed up to be the evil enterprise and Capsule Corp and Goku and Vegeta and all of them, right? So they send out 2 brand new androids, who I must say look kind of corny at first, but they're actually pretty dope. So they're the Gamma Boys, and you got 2 in 1, right? And 2 comes out the gate coming to get Piccolo, who just got done training with Pan. And let me say, Pan is going to be the baddest motherfucker of them all, because she's 3 years old, and she talks like a grown woman, all right? And she's out here training, taking licks from Piccolo, and he even says she's showing more promise than Gohan did at her age, which is true. Honestly, it really reminded me of how Goku was when he was like really small. Like he was impervious to bullets, like basically the first episode we see him and all that. And she don't have the tail or anything like that because obviously she's half. But well, I guess she's really like a quarter. But the promise is there. She can do everything. She just can't fly yet, right? Which is a little bit surprising. You would think she'd be able to do that at this point, but like I said, she's only 3 years old, dog. You know, but she goes to preschool. Piccolo's out here training. Gohan's being a deadbeat because the dog phones him up and asks him, you know, to go pick up Pan from school because Gohan's so busy. And he pulls up on him and he chews him out for being such a deadbeat. It's so funny. But like I guess like father, like son. But really, Piccolo's your daddy, nigga. So you need to take notes and go pick up your kid. I'm having to do this all the time now. It's not fair. But, you know, he's reluctant, but he's going to go ahead and do that. But 2 pulls up on him. And we get down to business right away. And you can tell that, you know, Piccolo gets licks in, but he's no match. And, you know, this is mainly due to the arrogance of 2, but he blasts him one time. That's like a real big explosion, and he thinks that he got him. Obviously, he didn't. Piccolo got out relatively unscathed. He's not hurt too bad or anything like that. Then he goes and he infiltrates the Red Ribbon facility where he kind of figures out the whole big deal going on with him. And that's where he discovers that there is actually another number 1 also. Now, from what I can tell, they don't seem too far apart in power between 2 and 1. Seems like they have like different strengths between the 2 of them, but none of that's really exaggerated or anything like that. But I like their personalities and things like that. Now they're hardcore about justice, more so 1 than 2, but they don't seem like bad people, and they're not, because Hedo designed them to have like kind of hero components. They think they're in the right, doing the right thing. That kind of comes into play later on. And what Piccolo does, he's already infiltrated all that. He phones up Bulma to call Goku and Vegeta and them, and they're not answering because of shenanigans. Let's just leave it at that. So it's really just going to be on them. And what the Red Ribbon Army decides to do for their first move is go and kidnap Pan because, you know, they want to draw out Gohan because he seems like a mild-mannered dude, not really out here trying to fight like that, but because he's had interactions with Piccolo and they've caught that on surveillance, they think he's some big shot in the organization. Which he could be. He very well could be, but he's not as of right now. And so Piccolo kind of plays along with it because... And that is kind of messed up. But, you know, Pan can handle it. She's good. He kind of gives it a lowdown of what's going on. And she just kind of sees it like an adventure. She's fine with it. And so, you know, Piccolo kidnaps her and brings her back to the Red Ribbon Army. They go and they show the footage to Gohan, who rides back with him. And then he pulls up and fights number 1. Now, at first... 1 is whipping his ass. I mean, it's really not even close. It's not a contest, but you can see that Gohan's getting the ring rust out, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But 1 kind of learns his enemy's techniques as he keeps fighting. So he keeps on giving Gohan the work. And they kind of have to goad Gohan, mostly due to Piccolo, because he acts like he's hurting Pan, which he's really not. And he's still in disguise or whatever. And that makes Gohan kind of snap a bit. So he's starting to bring back out all the old stuff. He goes Super Saiyan. Then he even goes Mystic Gohan, which was sick. And then he starts giving number 1 the work. And Hedo tells you know, number 2 to go hop in and help him. And Piccolo pulls up. And then they have their square off. Right? And 2 keeps on giving the business to Piccolo. And he did... wish with the Dragon Balls to unlock his potential, like how they did back in Z on the planet Namek, because Dende doesn't have that ability yet, but apparently Shenron can do that. Now, Dende will get the ability one day, it's just you have to reach a certain age, right? But 2's still giving him the work. But we don't realize is that what Piccolo thought was his power, it wasn't really that. He had to get pushed to the limit for a second, and then it like snaps, and all of a sudden he goes fucking Dragon God Piccolo or whatever. He turns orange and all that. It's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty dope. And then yeah, it's like it's nothing. It's no contest. Fuck smacks him up. Okay, threat seems to be resolved, but they're also talking to him at the same time, saying how y'all are like fighting on the wrong side. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not really Hedo's fault. It's just what the Red Ribbon Army's told him is that these are not the good guys that y'all think y'all are fighting for. And 2 and 1 are kind of taking that in and listening. Now they don't want to hear all that, but after kidnapping a little girl, all this other stuff, like it gets harder and harder to justify why y'all are fighting for them and things like that. And so those fights kind of come to an end. I think we've resolved all that. But the final creation that they do have is Cell Max. Now, big motherfucker, big OD motherfucker. And Magenta, who's the active leader, the grandson of Red, the former leader of the Red Ribbon Army, he's, evil through and through, trying to accomplish what he got to accomplish. Which I don't even really think he knows what that is, especially since Cell Max isn't finished yet or perfect. So if he loses control, then it's like it's wraps for him. And Edo basically kills him, if I'm not mistaken, due to his like science stuff. But it's too late. Cell Max is breaking out. Then we got to bring in everybody. Like, it was cool to see Goten, Trunks. You know what I'm saying? They kind of get made into a joke because, Goten, it's been so long since they did the fusion dance. He kind of forgot what it is. Stuff like that. Turns into a fucking fat ass when he goes out there. It's fucking ridiculous. We got Krillin here. We got 18 here. Which I was surprised we didn't see 17 at all. But, yeah, I don't know why we didn't see 17. But hey, Krillin, his wife, we get all that. Yes, you got Piccolo, you got Gohan, Goten, Trunks, Krillin, all of them. And then plus now 1 and 2 are on their side. But very clearly, early on, you kind of see that it's going to take every last one of them to take on this Cell Max. Now, this is where I kind of have a problem with it because, yes, I understand that Cell Max was not perfected and finished. But for the most part, he's just kind of like a kaiju. Right? He's not that big, but he's significantly bigger than everybody else. He's probably like 30, 40 feet tall or whatever. So there's zip around, they're flying. The animation was very crisp and clean during the fights, I must say. But overall, I didn't really like just the standard 3D CGI look overall. It was giving me like Berserk anime vibes for those who've seen that. So it's not really my cup of tea. It can work in some instances, but I would say for me that kind of fell flat in this movie. I would much prefer the style that they used in the Broly movie because it was a lot simpler, but the animation could go crazier because it was just so fluid and all this stuff. Now, like I said, during the fights, the camera angles, all this stuff, it looks really good, and the practical effects on the environments, they all look really clean and a lot more realistic, to be quite honest. But yeah, I would say that was my big nitpick for the movie. But once you get past that, it is a fun watch. It's enjoyable. The comedy's good. And everybody's fighting Cell Max, but Piccolo knows Gohan has to really be the one to do it. And they're pulling out all the stops. But Gohan just has to unlock that potential that he had. And he has to just kind of do it on his own. And, it's not until Piccolo seems like he's been forced to basically death that it snaps, and all of a sudden he goes into his transformation. Now, I don't personally really know what it was, but it damn near looked like Ultra Instinct. But it's like, I guess, the perfect Mystic Gohan form, where his hair gets way longer, but it still looks like how it does in Super Saiyan 2. But I guess it's like a manifestation of this like beast form that they used to have, back in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z or whatever. But obviously retains like his human form. You got the red eyes, the hair goes gray and all that. But he goes on Demon Time from that point on. Now, none of this would be possible, right, if number 2 didn't come through in the clutch. And I must say, respect to number 2, bro, because they're all, before Gohan hits that point, they're all getting pushed back, shit like that. And he has to go in and do this final strike against Cell Max to try and weaken it to a point where they can take it down, or whatever. Or even just make it more vulnerable and give them an opportunity to keep building up that final push, you know what I'm saying? And so he kind of sacrificed himself by doing a fucking meteor shot coming down from the heavens, dog. That shit was too clean. He looked like a fucking badass. And he does end up, by the end, we see him fade away, Thanos snap style, in the dust. you know, and then pretty much everyone else survives, and Gohan gets his one shot in, you know, after being pushed all the way to the limit. And it was finally good to see, my God, that Gohan has actually still got something left in the tank, and clearly that potential is still there. Hopefully this whole mission has taught him, you know, stay ready, fam. You don't know when another threat's gonna come through, and if it wasn't for these androids and everybody else, then you wouldn't have been able to protect your family or the world. I mean, Goku and Vegeta ain't gonna be here all the time. So that was good stuff on that part, and it was very emotional when Two did what he did, and he passed afterward. But it's just, and then even Piccolo acknowledged and like, you know, pats number one on the back, tells him like he was a true hero. So there's nothing to be ashamed of with that. Like he's a real man, and I respect that, because you think that one would be the type of character to make that sacrifice, but it was really Two that ends up doing it, even though he's like more arrogant than number one and more playful and stuff like that. To go to that final level and do that for everybody was like, it's big time. It can't be understated. If he didn't do that, then they were probably all gonna lose. So I love all that stuff. And even amidst the danger, Pan ends up learning how to fly, so that was a cool moment for her. Krillin, do your fucking job, fam. All you have to do is protect Bulma and Pan. But he does end up hopping in the fight later on, which was good, because he saved 18, who was in danger. Good. It's about time you did something, Krillin. But no, I don't want to go too hard on Krillin, but my God, man, like, come on. But I do respect that he got out there and did his thing. So, but so it all kind of wraps up, and you know, everyone kind of acknowledges that Hedo was not a bad dude, and that the androids weren't bad or anything like that. They just kind of got swindled. So Bulma does the right thing, brings them in Capsule Corp and whatnot. So whatever they're gonna do in the future, that's gonna be good stuff, because he's definitely an asset, and you know, like, I can't see his talents being used better anywhere else. But yeah, I will say it was good that we didn't have Goku and Vegeta here, or Broly, because I think any of those three could have taken down all these threats by themselves, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, it may have gotten to a high difficulty thing towards the end, but I still don't know if it would even push them to the max like that. So it was interesting how they handled that, but good at the same time, to give Gohan some shine, to give Piccolo and them some shine. You know what I'm saying? I think we needed that. It's just past the point where it's a Goku-centric series. And obviously, we still want our nigga Goku to shine. Me, most importantly. Obviously, I'm a huge fan. Vegeta, I like when he gets his moments. But he's a good character. I just don't like him, personally. But he's good. He's fine. But, yeah. So, overall, I would say it's a really good movie. I give it a 7. Because it is good, and it does have that good emotional moment that we was needing, because I was worried for a second that Two was going to survive, but he didn't, so that was necessary, and that was really good. Just the animation in the fights, it's hard to overstate how good that stuff looks. I just think that CGI look, it's just so stiff, that it was hard to get past at first. But once you get past that, like I said, it's pretty good. So, you know, if you're some stickler for animation style and things like that, you may not be able to get past that. But if you can, you know, kind of just hop into the flow of it a bit, I think it grows on you a little bit. Not better than the previous stuff, I would say, but the fights definitely show how clean it can look. All right, so that is a good thing. That is a good thing. Soundtrack hits. Comedy's pretty on point, I must say. So that was good stuff. Yeah, man. Like I said, it's a good movie. It is a good movie. Now, do I think that this movie's gonna be as good outside of the theater experience? I don't. I personally don't. Now, if you have some big crazy setup like I do, literally 4K, oh yeah, it could probably be really good. But it's gonna be hard to capture how great it was outside of the theater experience. So if you had a chance to go see it, or if you still have a chance to go see it because it's not quite out of theaters yet, go try and catch it right quick. It's only an hour 40 minutes. The pacing's good, all that. It's a little slow right at the beginning, but it's necessary, and I think that it was paced very well. So I just like how they're giving shine to other people. So, you know, I think that's good stuff. I think all that's good stuff. So let me know what you thought about the movie. Were you disappointed that Goku and Vegeta weren't in it? Do you think that there were any characters that were underutilized? Do you think that there was a certain character that should have got more shine? Who was your standout character? For me, man, it has to be number 2, dog. It's simply because of that moment. That moment when he makes that decision and he tells one what he needs to go and do. He needs to go save the doctor because he's still alive. He needs to do this and that. Like, that was sick, bro. And when he went up in the sky and he powered up, I was like, oh, here we go. Yeah, that was so good. So good. But, yeah, let me know who was your standout. What was your biggest disappointment? And what would you give this movie? Is it better than the Broly movie? I personally do not think so. I think that's unavoidable to say, but I think the level of danger is higher in the Broly movie. Now, it's anime, so we know that the hero's going to win by the end, but I just don't think that this one had as much danger. Now, where they could have fixed that, in my mind, and I know he was not perfect yet, but if this new Cell Max had some of the features that the old Cell did, then we could have taken it there to that level of danger. Because the biggest thing that made Cell as great as he was is that he was able to continuously evolve as time went on, right? And for Hedo, who is clearly smarter than Jiro was, I mean, you could tell just about 1 and 2, and he's doing this at a much younger age, that he can make shit that's better, like, straight up. And I know it's a slow process to create something like a Cell, but he's bragging this whole time about how he's super genius and Jiro is just a genius. I think that Cell definitely should have had that type of feature, because how I thought the movie was going to go, I thought he was going to have that, and yeah, it wasn't complete, but he was going to take Hedo's intellect by absorbing him, maybe absorbing 1 and 2, and then we'd really have a big showdown where we might have had to try and bring in, at the last cost, Goku and Vegeta. But I think that the way they chose to do it was good, because we wouldn't have got the moments with 1 and 2 like that if we didn't do that. So props to this movie for straying away from the normal, regular old path, because I was just sure that Goku and Vegeta was going to be here, but I still very much enjoyed the movie. Gohan and Piccolo is great. The side characters are finally given the attention they deserve. So let me know what you thought. 7 out of 10. Like, comment, subscribe. Been your boy T-Rav. I'm out.